I was kind of disappointed. I ain't gonna cap. I liked the character of Morbius more than I did the actual movie. And at times it just felt like three people only existed in this city, let alone the world. It gave me more zombie than vampire, but maybe that's just me. Too much slow-mo. I never really felt like that sense of urgency, right? Now, I don't get me wrong, I do love the bat bending that happened. I didn't coin that term. Shout out to the movie club. I like the character itself more than the movie. To me, it felt like a worse original Venom movie. What's going on, team? It's your boy G. We back at it again with another review, and today's episode we are going to be reviewing Morbius. Now, I was kind of excited going into this because this is, this is Jared Leto. You know what I'm saying? This is supposed to be a big name type of actor, and it's just another aspect of the MCU. So, new character, Sony world, like it was just, coming off the hype of Spider-Man and things like that. But man, I was kind of disappointed. I ain't gonna cap. I wasn't disappointed because I didn't enjoy the movie. Like it wasn't in the sense of man, what did I just watch? It was more so I liked the character of Morbius more than I did the actual movie. And I'll give you guys some reasons why. First one was that the movie was super linear, and in some cases that's not always a bad thing, but in this case, for this movie specifically, it was too linear to the fact that it was just okay, this kind of feels super isolated to the point that only three people will exist in this world. Don't get me wrong, I feel like they gave Morbius a very solid backstory. I love the discovery aspect of his powers and just all the awareness and things that he was able to figure out while in the midst of just trying to survive. But in a movie where the path is so linear that it actually hurts the movie, it's just we're jumping from scene to scene to scene, and it's a very jarring type of pacing to the point where it's just okay, I guess this is it makes sense that this is going to happen, but you would think you would get a little bit more aspects into what happens in between these portions of the movie. So take for instance Morbius' main lab, right? This is a major scene in the movie as far as they come back to this place 50 million times, right?
Stop the cap.
But this is a crime scene by the first quarter of the movie, and they're just getting in and out, in and out, in and out, there's nobody there, right? There's nobody watching the lab, nobody even thinking to put one guard or one cop there to make sure no evidence gets tampered with or anything. It just felt really weird. And the fact that you have somebody like Tyrese, and I forgot the other cop's name, but I've seen him in other movies before, but you got these major actors in this non-factor role, they're piecing the mystery of Morbius together along with the audience, but it's just they're always behind. They really don't end up knowing anything at the end of the day, and maybe that plays into a sequel where we get more of that. Now obviously they have moments with side characters in the movie, but other than that it just felt very isolated, and at times it just felt like three people only existed in this city, let alone the world. Now that we talked a little bit about the plot, man, I want to talk more about the characters. So I think the main character of Jared Leto did a very good job, right? As a portrayal of Morbius, I think this is as good as you gonna get. You know what I'm saying? Now the actual vampire mode or whatever, it gave me more zombie than vampire, but maybe that's just me. But I do like how interchangeable it was. Now when it came to them going in and out of the mode while speaking, that was kind of weird, but other than that I think it was good. Now as far as the main love interest in this movie, I think they had very good chemistry with Morbius, and I feel their story is definitely believable, right? But they definitely did have some awkward moments that was an effect of just how linear the path of the story was. Everybody knew that there was this underlying tension that they had. She was super infatuated with him, he was super down on himself, never felt like he was good enough in a sense, and and obviously by the end of the movie, what I'm saying, they actually show their love and appreciation for each other. But I'm more interested in the future because now Shorty's a vampire too, so that's really cool to me. Now, as far as the best friend slash main antagonist of this movie, I wasn't really feeling him, bruh. Like, I get the whole, I felt powerless my whole life. I've lived my whole life wondering if I'm going to die in the next second or minute. Like, I get that aspect of the story. Like I said, I think the backstory was good, but for him to end up becoming a villain, and villain might be too much of a stretch. Like, this dude was just out here murking youngins, right? Like I said, I think the backstory was good, and they showed us that he had this underlying rage that, you know, was built up inside of him, not only just because of his situation, but end of the day, him having the money, Morbius having the brains. Like, I get that, right? But it was, for me, the Joker complex that this character had that just threw me off a little bit, right? Because for me, I feel like there just wasn't enough evidence in a sense to warrant him being this actually crazy. And I get the serum probably like enhanced the underlying emotions and feelings that he's had his whole life that would get him to actually act like this. Like, I get that, right? But when it came down to it, it just gave me Joker vibes, bro. And I was just like, yo, you're not that important to have those type of vibes. Emotional damage. I don't know, I might be bugging on that. Like, I didn't necessarily enjoy that part. Now, as far as like the final fight for them, I did like that a lot. I think there was just too much slow-mo, you know, and I get that you have to slow things down so that, you know, the audience can see what's actually happening. We were just seeing a lot of the same things, right? For me, with, you know, Morbius's character and just seeing all the different powers that he has, I think that it's a lot cooler as far as like an environmental thing. You know, when it comes down to an actual fight, it's just a whole bunch of slashing, right? And jumping from thing to thing. Like, I never really felt like that sense of urgency, right? And especially because like they was binding each other, right? But their clothes were still like pristine, clean, no wrinkle in sight. Like, it just didn't look real to me, you know? And I get it's a superhero movie, right? But it was just one of those things that I noticed where I was just like, okay, like, I've had enough of the slow-mo, you know? And at some points it was kind of like too slow. Now, I don't get me wrong, I do love the bat bending that happened. I didn't coin that term. Shout out to the movie club, put me on to that because that joint is hilarious. But like the Hadouken with the bats, like, I think that was pretty cool. But for that to be the thing that knocked him out, I was just like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying, we got to end the movie somehow or another. But I think that Morbius will be a lot cooler when it comes to him fighting other heroes and villains, because I don't think Morbius is necessarily going to be like a superhero. I think he's just going to be in the middle, you know, some things good, some things bad. But I'm excited for like what the Sonyverse has to offer now, because not only do you have Morbius now, but you also got Venom, Blade is coming soon, and now with the end credit scenes of the Vulture is now in this universe too. Seeing this movie for the first time, man, I enjoyed it. I don't think I ever really go back to it. I'm more excited for what Morbius can do in the future. Like I said earlier, man, I liked the character itself more than the movie. To me, it felt like a worse like original Venom movie, you know, because if, like I said, it was very linear, but there just wasn't a lot of like surprises. Yes, I learned a lot of things that I didn't know about Morbius in general, but from a storytelling standpoint, it was just very like to the point. And that doesn't necessarily make it bad, it just didn't do it for me. Like I said, man, the effects was dope. The actual like vampire moments where like it gave Scary Movie vibes, not the movie Scary Movie, but just like had that music and had that suspense. Like, I love that aspect of this movie. So overall, the movie was alright, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna get a good score, bro. And with me cutting down on the G-File score, man, it made it really, really hard. So I'm gonna actually give this movie a 6 out of 10 on the G-File score. Probably my lowest, one of my lowest at least, G-File score out there. But you know, hopefully like the actual movies for Morbius get a lot better, because I love the character, bro. I'm gonna keep saying that. I love the actual character of Morbius, and I think Jared Leto did a good job, but they just did him dirty on the actual movie side of it. But that's all for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'm gonna have a podcast come out this week as well on the Why I'm Geek channel, so definitely go check that out. I'm gonna be talking with the homie Chris about the movie and get some of his thoughts on it as well. But other than that, that's all I got, man. Stay tuned to the channel. I got a lot of things coming. I'm gonna holler at y'all in the next video, man. Y'all be easy. Y'all on the vibes. Always keep growing. So going. Speed Boy G. I'm gone. Peace.